This is going to be your weekly tarot and oracle relationship reading. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. We're going to take a look at the energies you may have been experiencing in previous days, how you're feeling currently, and a sneak peek at the upcoming days. So as I'm filming this, we have just had a full moon in Scorpio, and now things are settling down. We've gotten into a much lighter energy with the moon moving into Sagittarius. And on top of that, we have now officially come out of Mercury retrograde. But I just want to remind you that, of course, we still have the post-shadow period, which means that energy will linger for a little while longer. So in the comments, please let me know your word of the day, word of the week, what's your vibe. I would say that the energy has been very exhausting. A lot of people feeling extremely tired. But as per usual, that's moon energy, that's letting go, purging, surrendering. I am curious though, if you could in the comments let me know what's something that you have let go of in the last little while or with this full moon in Scorpio. You know, Scorpio energy is so transformative, it's so emotional, it's so deep. And this last energy was considered some of the strongest of the full moons for the year. Now, currently, we should be getting into a little bit of a lighter vibe, but again, it all depends on your perspective and how well you're embracing change. So let's take a look at the overall themes and messages for this reading. And we have here, it is time to celebrate. Cultivate an air of celebration today. So in the comments, I'm asking for all these comments today because I am curious how you're doing. Is there something that you can celebrate? What do you think it's time to celebrate right now? In what ways could you cultivate an air of celebration? I mean, it is Friday, and I do say happy Friday to everyone. Of course, this is timeless for when you're watching it, but in general, that's something small we can look at today and say, okay, it's the end of the week, maybe even a tough week. What's something you can do to feel, oh, I've got a kitty cat in the background. She's celebrating too. What can we do to celebrate? So let's take a look at another theme or message. And we have here, it's in you. Oh, it's definitely in her. And she is, oh, there she is right on the table, being a part of our reading today, as per usual. And funny, it's a kitty card. We have this lion energy, and it's in you. Courage, strength. And I'm looking at these two cards and look at the similarities in color, you know, these yellows, these green. Yellow is your solar plexus, green is your heart chakra. So it's time to celebrate. It's time to have the courage to move yourself forward. You know, when I see this it's time to celebrate card, I am thinking about 1111 or the Four of Wands in tarot. It definitely feels to me like there's this, you know, energy that is brewing in the air, something that is getting stronger and stronger. So let's take a look here. Now, I was going to pick up another deck, but then I was drawn to this one because of the coloring I just mentioned. Let's see what we need to know. Apple tree, abundance. Well, there's the green. There's the heart chakra. I love it. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at your headspace, your person's headspace, your heart space, their heart space, overall energy and underlying energy. And of course, feel free to swap sides if it makes more sense. You can also watch this for your own inner masculine and feminine energies. It doesn't have to be about being in a connection or relationship. But we're going to use the Before Tarot to start us off here. And this is basically going to give us the energies for the previous days. So let's see what you may have been encountering in the previous days. So in your headspace, we have here the 10 of Swords. Okay, 10 of Swords is the idea of preparing for the end of a cycle. 10 of Swords is something that is dead, done, and over with, and letting go, you know, ending that cycle. And with that, we have here the Six of Swords. The idea of this is moving on to calmer waters and peace. This is somebody who's basically getting into the boat and embarking on a journey towards peace, right? So letting go. Now, let's take a look at your person's headspace in the previous days. And we have here the Two of Wands. You know, in this depiction, he's got the whole world in his hands and he's preparing to embark on that journey. You know, the Two of Wands basically says, make a decision, leave your comfort zone, make some moves. Excuse me. And, you know, it wouldn't be a typical Kelly Lorraine reading without saying, Are you in the old? Are you in the new? Because essentially this means leaving the old, going towards the new. And let's see what else. Excuse me, now my throat wants to act up. Does somebody need to say something maybe? Well, there's the, funny I said that. There's the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is possibly wearing a mask. It's holding something back. You know, maybe it's truth being revealed, and maybe there's some preparation here to reveal something. Okay, so let's take a look at your heart space. What was going on in the last few days? And the Ace of Swords, yeah, preparing for truth. Ace of Swords is truth, it's clarity, it's epiphanies, you know, these aha moments. Have you had any lately? Any aha moments or realizations? But I will say this, your side here especially is all swords so far. Swords are thoughts, communications. Your head must be in overdrive. Your heart too. Now granted, we do have another swords card here, but let's see. What else do we need to know? More swords. So, okay. Three of Swords means almost preparing to deal with some grief or some sorrow or some heartbreak. Maybe many of you were having some realizations about an illusion or something that was happening in your daily life. You know, in my previous videos last week, I was talking a lot about like snap out of it. Like, you know, I was just like, it's time to like snap out of it, you know, get out of that old energy. And then there was a reading that I just posted that said, you know, a broken illusion, not illusioned anymore. So maybe there's some enlightenment or some clarity that has come to a situation. Let me know if that's something that resonates with you. So let's see what's going on here. Your person's heart space and the Five of Wands, conflict. You know, the conflict is the should I, shouldn't I? Can I have this? Can I really have this? What do I do? How do I do it? You know, it could even be some gossip or too many chefs in the kitchen, interference in some way. And with that, we have the King of Swords. But see, here's the thing. This is somebody who's preparing to be logical and decisive and not be in conflict. It's just they haven't made that decision yet, at this stage anyways. But this is coolness. Detachment could be an air sign. Let's take a look at the overall messages here. The Knight of Cups, preparing to open the heart. Interesting, because the Knight of Cups is like an offering of love here. And with that, the Tower, somebody's world is shaken up. You know, there's nothing wrong with the Tower moment. I always say that. A Tower moment sometimes brings new light. And it kind of looks like the card above it, you know, the darkness here. I mean, with light, you have dark. Dark, you have light. Sometimes we need a Tower moment to shake up our world. And remember that these things happen for us. They don't just happen to us. You know, I think so many times when things don't go our way or the way we plan, we say, why is this happening to me? And it's not that it's happening to anyone. It's happening for us. Sometimes we have to be put through a different process than we expect. You know, we have to trust the process, respect the process, let it unfold naturally. Now, the underlying energy, well, we have a rod of fire here. So the Ace of Wands is, you know, getting ready for a spark, you know, a new beginning of something, excitement, purpose, and passion even. So we've got a few aces here that indicate that new beginnings are happening. And there's the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords can be a card of spying or observing. If you had a little bit of a song and dance this week or back and forth on social media, or, you know, just be careful of any energetic chasing, you know, where you're looking at old conversations, old pictures, or social media, whatever. You don't want to be in that kind of energy because that does hold you back. But essentially here, this can be getting ready to learn something. This could be making a decision. And we talked about that with the King of Swords over here. So let's get into the current energy between you and your person. Let's kind of see what's happening right now, what you can kind of expect for the weekend if you're watching this on Friday or on the weekend. But again, these readings are timeless whenever you watch them. So in your headspace, there is the Two of Wands. We had the Two of Wands in the previous layer here. So Two of Wands, again, leaving your comfort zone. You're leaving your comfort zone. You're making a decision. Are you in the old? Are you in the new? You know, it's almost like the ships are coming in and you don't even realize it. You know, there's so many things going on behind the scenes. And You're just doing your work. You're just doing your studying and you're learning whatever it is that you've got on your plate right now. It's always important to make sure that you're number one. Now, let's see. With that, we have, well, the Knight of Wands, passion in the pants. Not a surprise. It's interesting. The Knight of Wands is Sagittarius energy, and the moon did just move into Sagittarius from that Scorpio full moon. That Sagittarius energy, it's hot, it's adventurous, it's spicy. But it is an energy that rides in very quickly and can leave just as fast. So be careful. If you are feeling motivated, that's wonderful. Stay motivated. Do what you got to do to stay in that good energy and push yourself forward. Don't let yourself get held back. Okay? And funny that I said that, held back. At the bottom of the deck here is the Four of Pentacles, holding back. So that might be a specific message for somebody. Let's take a look at what's going on in your person's headspace. And we have here the Sun. Here comes the Sun. How beautiful. The Sun is a yes card, happiest card in the deck. And, it's interesting. The Seven of Swords that we talked about earlier, that can be ego or coming from a place of fear. And that's what the Sun can be too, in the sense of like, don't be afraid, make the moves. Everything's going to work out. And this is sort of like riding in or, moving forward in ways that demonstrate yes. It's time to say yes more than you say no, right? So let's see what else we need to know here. And we have the World, completion of a cycle. This means, again, we're letting go. This is congratulations, you're going to the next level. So lovely energy. Now, in the heart space, we have the Five of Cups. Wow, interesting, because we had the Five of Wands, which is that conflict, and now we have the Five of Cups, so 5-5. So here's the thing. In your heart space, you might actually be grieving whatever that was previously that broke your heart or hurt your heart or disappointed you, or in general, it can just be grieving the old. Remember, your new life is going to cost your old life, and there's grief that comes with it. Grief is not just physical death. It can be death of an old time in your life, a relationship, something that you thought was really solid that just may not be, or that it was a season and a reason. So this is basically saying that maybe currently you're feeling that in-between vibe of sadness, right? Because what you once knew may not be what it is anymore. So with that, we have, there you go. There's that Ten of Swords. So you had the Ten of Swords in the previous layer, and therefore here it is again. You couldn't have any more swords in your back at this point, and it's basically telling you you're processing this loss. You're processing the end of a cycle. But what's beautiful about endings is that there are new beginnings right after. And how do you know that they're not the best thing that ever happened to you? You have no way of knowing until you cross that bridge. But you also have to know how to recognize something good right when it's in front of you. You can't overanalyze to the point where you miss out on an amazing opportunity. So let's see what's going on in your person's heart space. And you got the Moon. Well, the Moon, it's that lingering energy, right, of the full moon. You feel it a few days before, a few days after. Wouldn't surprise me. Even if the moon has moved into Sagittarius, you're still going to feel that transformative energy or that exhaustion from the week. But the moon is purging, surrendering, and letting go. It's also intuition. Can even be romance. Depends. And here we have the Queen of Pentacles. This is really nice because this is stability. And sometimes we have to let go of things in order to have our stability, And I want to remind you, good luck is bad luck is good luck. Sometimes you think something can be so great and it turns out to be not so great. But sometimes when you're going through a bit of a struggle and you think it's so bad, it actually ends up being like the best thing that ever happened to you. So overall energy here, we have here the Six of Wands, public recognition and victory. Everything is going to be okay. And the Devil card here is about restrictions, addictions, and codependency. But regardless of those restrictions, everything is going to be okay. It's a matter of perspective, perseverance, and willingness to change and also to be open, It's always really hard to actually be open to new things, right? Because it can be scary, but I want you to look at it as something that is exciting. It doesn't have to be a bad thing to go through changes. Now, underlying energy is the Nine of Swords. There's that worry and anxiety. Naturally, is everything going to work out okay? And there you go, Six of Swords. You're moving on to calmer waters and peace. Now we've got 6-6. So we do have the repeating cards. It will be okay. You will have your peace. Again, it's all about how you navigate, you know. So let's take a look at the after tarot to see what's coming up in the next few days. Let's go back to your headspace. And we have here, there's the sun. We had the sun. Now we have the sun. It's interesting. It almost feels like in this particular reading that your person is a smidge ahead in some ways. And I don't know if you're feeling that or not, but maybe it's the fact that you're seeing movement in your person's energy, because that's what it should be. Divine masculine energy leads, right? So in a way, it almost feels like these cards are like a little bit ahead of your own, because you're also ending cycles, but I think they're different kinds of cycles. You know, I think that it's more in regards to possibly anxious attachment style. It could be, you know, the need for validation from your person. Maybe it's almost like there's this lead here of energy that is reassuring you. You know, you're following that lead, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's always balance and equal giving and receiving. But you've got the sun here, and the sun is yes, you know, the happiest card in the deck. And let's see what else you need to know. There's the Hermit. Well, that's about searching your soul, and that's about getting enlightenment. And it feels like you are getting the light. And we talked about that, you know, the light and the dark. With light, there's dark. With dark, there's light. It almost feels, and it's interesting. Right when I was about to put this card on top of this one, I was drawn to the fire here. And I mean, look at the theme. There's the fire. There's the sun. Here's the star lighting up that lantern. So I think you're definitely getting some enlightenment. And we did talk about the Ace of Swords earlier in your heart space, those aha moments, those epiphanies. It's basically enlightenment, right? So let's take a look. Actually, I want to make one other point. I never really thought about this. You know, speaking of the light, here, there's this green light that's shining, and that green light is the heart chakra, in my opinion, in matters of the heart. We're going to have the victory that enlightens the heart. Okay. So let's see in your person's headspace where we're at in the next days. 3 of Cups, celebration. That's beautiful. Celebration, happiness. That can even be a higher level of commitment. I mean, sometimes this card is seen as like a proposal or engagement. But again, it's time to celebrate. There you go. Right there. It's time to celebrate. This is a card of celebration. How beautiful. Can't make that up. Okay, and with that we have, there's the 5 of Cups. Again, interesting. It's like you were in the 5 of Cups in the grieving, and then all of a sudden, this is like another step ahead where, you know, maybe your person has gone through the grieving process, because this is the after tarot. This is like, I'm not crying over spilled milk anymore. Okay, I'm not in that disappointment or that sadness. I'm coming out of it, and it's like snapping out of it, right? A lot of connections here to some other readings. This is quite deep. And in your heart space, here's the point. You're not over-analyzing to the point where you're missing out on opportunities, right? So I love that for you. No more distractions. Let's see what else. Beautiful. 6 of Pentacles. You now have equal giving and receiving and balance. Love that. That's also, excuse me, that's also a card of investment. And let's take a look at your person's heart space. Oh, wow. You know what? You can't make this up. It's the Lovers. Well, you have a deep soul connection. Could be a decision in love. But I don't think this is any kind of negative decision. This is very positive based on the cards and based on celebration. So you've got the Lovers in the heart space. And with that, we have here the 9 of Wands. It's like this person is coming out of those tough times. You know, the 9 of Wands is the wounded warrior, and it's kind of like tired of that energy. You know, in theory, you know, and I say this generally, I say love heals. And what I mean by that is another person can't necessarily heal you, right? It's not like somebody miraculously falls from the sky and just suddenly heals you. But going through the process of opening your heart and bettering your life or your situation can bring a lot of love and a lot of change. And therefore, the Nine of Wands is basically saying, you know, I'm not going to be that wounded warrior anymore. It's time to heal. And so that's a really, really nice energy to be in. So the overall themes, look, there's the Empress, birthing a whole new cycle, fertility, love, creativity. I mean, she is the queen of the earthly plane, right? She's like the queen of queens. So that is really beautiful. Now we have 3-3. And like, look at the celebration. See how the cups are in the air? And then you've got these, I don't even know what that is, but I don't know what you would call it. I can't think of the word off the top of my head right now. Oh, it's like a scepter, right? It's probably like a scepter. But it almost reminds me of like a light bulb, like of enlightenment. Okay. And there's the Page of Pentacles, an offer. A tangible offer. Wow. Okay. Beautiful. And the underlying energy here is, look at this, the Four of Coins. We're not holding back anymore. We've had enough of that. Here's basically the Grim Reaper that's coming in saying like, those days are over. So we've had a lot of fours, you know, as in 4-4 or 4-4-4. Angels are with you, divinely guided. And with that, we also have the Page of Wands telling you to throw caution to the wind and enjoy life, being creative. And that's that Sagittarius energy again. So this is just a reminder to enjoy yourself, laugh, have joy in your life, have fun. Okay, let's take a couple Power of Surrender cards before we finish to see what each of you need to surrender or surrender to. Funny when I said 2, it said 22 right on my timer. On the left side here, it says, surrender your addictions. And I find that interesting because we did have the Devil card above, which was, you know, addictions, codependency, and restrictions. It says, whether you're addicted to substances, food, people, sex, or overworking, take action to begin to heal the addiction and replace it with healthier alternatives. You know, I'll put it to you this way. Sometimes relationships can be addictive. And there's nothing wrong with loving your person and wanting your person. But there is a point where if you're so addicted and trying to control the outcome, it works totally against you, right? So this is kind of saying, let go, let God, you know, trust the process. You don't have to know every detail or plan every step. Essentially, just lean back, replace it with healthier alternatives. Go to the gym, go for a walk, spark new energy through creativity. I mean, the Empress is all about art or what you're passionate about. Could be music, something that's going to spark something new for you. Let's take a look at your person's side over here. And we have here, surrender your need to always be right. Give others the gift of letting them be right. Be yielding, not rigid. This will help resolve conflicts and improve your relationships. Look at these two in the picture. I don't think I've ever noticed this before. It's like the two of them are having a reasonable conversation. You know, her hand on his, her hand on his shoulder. You know, they're actually having a conversation. There's listening. There's like this communication that's happening. And you know what it reminds me of? Side note, it reminds me of early on in these type of relationships where typically you see it before they see it. You know exactly what the connection is. You know exactly what the feelings are. And they're the ones that tell you they don't have the capacity. And that's fair. It's fair if they don't. They have things to work through. But at the same time, it's almost like they're the ones that say, you know, can't give, no, nothing good can come of this. You know, there's those like reasons that are valid yet still push away. This kind of feels like the energy of, I don't know what this is, and I'm going to be open to that. And you can see their communication is so much more open in the picture. I don't think I've ever noticed that looking at these cards. So in other words, maybe this is just sort of saying, Surrender the control over here on the left side, and then surrendering the need to always be right or to say it has to be this way, because nothing has to be anyway. Basically what it is just being open and letting the universe take care of it. So I really hope this resonates with you. As always, I appreciate your likes, your comments, your subscribes. If you'd like to do a personal reading with me, the link is in my bio. Again, thank you very much, and I wish you an amazing week.